My brain completely stopped working after that. For about 4 days, I felt like I didn't have a brain. I genuinely was so worried, I actually wondered if I had a stroke. I was like, my brain and my body are not matching. Everything feels interesting, exciting. You are on. Then afterwards, dopamine dips. It's kind of like this social hangover, or what I called royally fucked, but apparently that's not a medical term. Your brain basically then has to go into like recovery mode afterwards. I just thought it was like classic energy management, but it's also so much more than that. Oh my god, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. This is Confessions of an ADHD. I am really excited you were here actually for this episode, because this one I think is going to be an absolute cracker. I know that I've obviously experienced this myself, but I also know from speaking to my clients, majority of them are business women, going to lots of events, super busy, they have also experienced this as well. So I'm really excited that you're here. If you are new to the show, welcome. This is obviously the podcast where I share what I call my weekly ADHD fueled fuck ups, but I also share the neuroscience behind them, in the hope that sharing a bit of my chaotic, mildly concerning ADHD things I do on a daily basis is going to help you so that you feel less alone on your ADHD journey, and hopefully as well can have some of those, oh my god, that makes so much sense now moments. Now, obviously, a quick note, guys. I'm not a medical professional, all from my own lived in experience, because ironically, despite being a time management coach, I discovered I've got ADHD at the grand old age of 38. So here we are. So grab a cuppa, get comfy, and let's dive right into today's episode. Because today's confession, I went to a few events at the start of March and my brain completely stopped working after that. Literally, for about 4 days, I felt like I didn't have a brain. So let me just set the scene for you. So it's start of March. It was an amazing experience, by the way. What did I have? So first of all, I had a coffee morning in London with the fabulous Darya in London. Go check her out, by the way. She has written a book called The Immigrant Entrepreneur. And she is one of the leads for Growth London Local, hosts a lot of like networking events and things like that in London. So go check her out. So anyway, I did that. I was speaking that as well, and I went straight from that to Sophie Lee's book launch. So shout out to Sophie Lee for that, because that was such an incredible evening. Just, it's given me such inspiration and a bit of jealousy for my own book launch. Like seriously, guys, the book has to bloody happen this year. And then Saturday I was in London, and then Sunday I went over to Brighton for Elif's International Women's Day event, which again, absolutely phenomenal. So shout out to her as well. And then Monday, I opened up my laptop, went to work as normal. And Mondays is always my crazy busy day, because all my clients, you know, everybody starts firing up after the weekend. Everyone wants stuff for you. My VAs are in different countries, so the time difference, I've got a load of things from them Monday morning. Clients want stuff, and Mondays are busy. My brain was not fucking working. I genuinely was so worried, I actually wondered if I had a stroke. I was like, my brain and my body are not matching. Now, let's be honest, coordination as an ADHDer, that ain't our thing. But it was even worse. It was literally like everything I touched, I fucked it up. Like, that's the only technical explanation that I can give. Let me list a few. And this is just a few, by the way. So I tried to be a good girl and do some washing. As you know, housework isn't my thing. I got it part of this really cute co-ord, actually, like this fluffy, furry, matching jumper, maxi skirt combo. Washed the jumper and I accidentally put it in with some black stuff, and so it came out yellow, but not the yellow it used to be, which is annoying when it's part of a co-ord, because you can tell the shade difference. So I ruined my yellow jumper. I just knocked a whole can of sweet corn over the floor while trying to make an omelette. It just was covered in bruises. I don't know what I'd been walking into. I would go to grab something, but then absolutely miss. It was like my hands were numb. So it wasn't just that coordination. Like, I would maybe actually grab the mug or the thing that I was aiming for, but then just knock it over or not be able to grasp it. I mean, my house, it looks like a disaster at the best of times, but this just looked like an absolute whirlwind, because I just was knocking everything over. It was like my feet were in the slipperiest of shoes. I lost my headphones. I lost a bowl and a spoon in in the house. It's not like I walked out with it. I lost my credit card. I actually did text my dad to cancel it because it was, well, I won't explain why, but anyway, I texted my dad to cancel the credit card. He didn't, and then a few days later I found the credit card and I was like, oh, you didn't cancel that credit card, did you? And he was like, no, because I'd know you'd find it again somewhere in the house. I was like, oh, okay, yep, I did. My speech was slurry, man. It was like, again, I felt like I'd had a stroke. That's just a little snippet. It was like my brain and my body just were not matching. Now, obviously, I'm getting a little bit worried. I'm like, what is going on here? As I say, I know as an ADHDer, coordination, walking through doors, things like that, not necessarily my forte. I was like, this is worse than normal. Like, what the actual fuck? So I took to ChatGPT, like any sensible person does. Now, before we go into the neuroscience about what is actually happening, I've always had a bit of an inclination that after an event, I get the post-event blues, or what I just call, like, I just feel fucked. Realise that is not a technical term, so I was like, it's like some kind of post-event blues, like I don't know what's going on. And I've always had this conversation with my dad to the point where he actually knows this about me and is like, right, when you've got lots of events, make sure you plan in that time afterwards. And I thought it was just a general energy management thing. Now, just a little side note, if you don't know, in my kind of like business day job, whatever you want to call it, I'm a time and energy management coach. And I'm very, very big on the fact that time management isn't about managing your time, but it's about managing your energy. So I teach time management through a energy-led time management way. So I just thought this is good energy management. You go to an event, you're using lots of energy, you've probably travelled there for a couple of hours, you've probably got up at bloody 5 a.m. because obviously you've got to get there, etc. So I just thought it was like classic energy management. And it is, but it's also so much more than that, because this is the neuroscience behind it. What actually is happening is something called post-stimulation depletion. And basically what is happening is that your dopamine, yeah, that classic word with ADHD coming up again. So, first thing, dopamine. What is dopamine responsible for? If you've got ADHD, you would have heard the dopamine word all the time, but let's just recap on what it's actually doing. Dopamine isn't just like your happy hormone or like your reward hormone, by the way. This is responsible for motivation, excitement, interest, and obviously, for us ADHDers, unfortunately, we don't regulate it quite the same as neurotypicals. Now, this does not mean you do not have dopamine, by the way. I've had some people say to me, oh, well, ADHDers, we don't have dopamine. No, we do. We just regulate it very different. So, what's happening with the dopamine when we're at events? New people, new conversations, new ideas, lots of stimulation. It's like your dopamine is like ping, ping, ping. Like your brain is getting big, fat, juicy dopamine spikes. Everything feels interested, exciting. Oh, shiny object, what's going on over there? You are on. Then afterwards, dopamine dips. And that dip can feel like exhaustion, brain fog, low motivation, clumsiness, cravings, hello sugar, weird sleep. Now, we've probably got those things going on for us anyway with ADHD, but if the dopamine is suddenly taking a dramatic hit after this dramatic spike, well, it's going to be even worse. So what else is going on? We've got dopamine, but we've also got the word that I really struggled to pronounce, norepinephrine. Yes, nailed it. So I used to think that this was adrenaline. It's like the cousin of adrenaline. It's not quite adrenaline. And what this is responsible for is things like alertness, attention, mental energy. So when both dopamine and your norepinephrine fluctuate, your brain basically then has to go into like recovery mode afterwards. It's kind of like this social hangover or this post-event blues, or what I called royally fucked, but apparently that's not a medical term. It's post-stimulation depletion. And this is exactly why after the few days of events and like, oh my God, this is so amazing, it took me a while for my brain to recalibrate afterwards. Now, how long it takes for your brain to recalibrate depends, right? Depends on who you are, how much you did. I know naturally as well, I'm actually a bit of an introvert. Yes, I'm a bit of a loud gobshite, but I get my energy from me, not from other people. So I find it very like, ooh, when I'm around people all the time. So it can take a day, 2 days, maybe even up to 5 days for your brain to recalibrate. And from my personal experience of going to those events, as I said, opened up the laptop on Monday and was like, what the fuck? I feel like my brain has been hit by a truck. It actually wasn't until the Friday that I started to feel like I was recovering and that I was regulating again. So it kind of fitted into that, you know, what the research was saying, anywhere between sort of a day, 2 days, maybe up to 5 days. So I don't just want to leave you on that, guys, because I don't want it to be all doom and gloom. And I also don't want you thinking, well, I can't go to an event ever again, can I? Because it's absolutely going to fuck me over. Is it going to fuck you over? Yeah, maybe. Do I have loads of events this year? Yeah, I do. I'm unexpectedly in the UK. I'm going to make the most of this unforeseen opportunity. I'm hosting my own events, which is going to obviously spike my dopamine and everything else more than normal. Does it mean that I stay at home and I'll be a hermit? No. What it means is I learn how to regulate and recalibrate and also manage my diary for after that. I'm going to give you an example. On the 8th of June, shameless plug here, I've got the Big Business Breakthrough event happening in London. If you haven't got a ticket already, come join us. That's going to take a lot of energy from me. I know that Monday is going to take a lot of energy from me. I know then on the Friday, Saturday, so a few days after, I'm actually speaking at Wellnergy. That is going to be a big week for Alice. Like, that is going to take a lot out of me. I've already planned that in. I've already planned a little bit before and after the event to make sure that I'm not going to be back-to-back meetings and that I know that I'm going to be slower. I know that I'm going to need some recovery time. Hopefully not 5 fucking days again, but forewarned is forearmed. So I want to give you some tips for recovery. I want to give you 7 tips that helped me. And obviously this is still a new learning curve for me. So not only did it help me on this experience that I'm sharing with you in March, but going forward, I'm going to start adopting this for myself. And this is something that I've been advocating to my clients as well. Just a quick note on this. What I thought was really interesting when I was going through my experience is a lot of the symptoms and the signs that I was thinking, feeling, experiencing, I think they could present themselves as anxiety. Now, I do have a history of mental health experiences and difficulties, things like depression and self-harm and a severe eating disorder, addictive personality and anxiety. But what I thought was interesting in that 5 days that my brain was recalibrating, a lot of the things that I was experiencing, like feeling a bit low, feeling like my brain wasn't bloody working properly, I think had I not realised that I had ADHD and that this was going on, I would have gone, there's something wrong with me, I'm feeling anxious, I'm feeling depressed, I'm feeling low mood. But because I knew there was a brain reason why this was happening, it kind of put that at ease. And I realised that actually it wasn't anxiety. And actually it was just this post-stimulation depletion. So I want to share that with you because, again, as I said, I'm not a medical professional. And, you know, I'm not saying as well, like, this is the answer, you haven't got anxiety, it's this. But what I am saying is when you understand what's going on for you and you can get really aware and in tune with, okay, this has happened, so this is why I'm feeling like this. We can almost label things to our advantage by going, okay, right, this is the reason and this is how I deal with it, rather than just maybe going, oh God, I'm feeling anxious and I don't know why. Anyway, so let's go into the 7 tips that help me. Tip number 1, pre-decide tomorrow. Now, this is something that I talk about all the time from a time and energy management perspective, because I'm a big believer of take the fucking thinking out. Like, we are trying to do everything, especially as business owners like myself, but just anyone. And what I want you to do is start planning ahead and pre-decide tomorrow so that when you wake up, you know exactly what you're doing, when you're doing, and how you're doing it. And I don't just mean tasks, I also mean things like meal preps and planning your outfit and checking the train times and stuff like that. Like, pre-decide as much as you can. I even did things like, if I'm going out for a meal, like I pre-decide some options. I like to have a little look at the menu before I get there. Now, I know not everyone does, but that's what helps me. By pre-deciding tomorrow, I'm taking some of the thinking out. Okay, the second tip, cut non-essential decisions and reduce the decisions. As I said, the more decisions you make, you're using more brain capacity, and I think your brain is for thinking, not for remembering and constantly making small, low-level, low-ticket decisions. So in that week that I felt absolutely after the events, I had to be strict. If it wasn't urgent, if it wasn't something that had to be done that week, it was a no for now. And I just had to put things back. That is okay. That is so okay. I think we get so caught up in the fact that we have to do everything straight away and we don't. So anything that didn't feel like an essential decision that had to be made there and then in the moment, or had to be done there for that week, I just gently pushed it back. The third thing is protect your energy. Again, you know, I talk about energy-led time management all the time, but I really protected my energy like it was so precious, because it was. So no draining conversations, no quick, can I just pick your brains? I even had to push back actually on my dad, because he was like, can I just talk to you about this trip? And I was like, no, I'm sorry, no, not in the next couple of days. And I did check. I was like, is it urgent? He was like, well, no. And I was like, well, when my brain is back, we'll have a conversation. But I was like, at the moment, it is like the bucket of water is on the brim, and if one more drop goes in, like that's it, it's out everywhere. And I was like, I cannot take that on. So you've got to protect your energy, and I don't just mean physically, but you know, mentally as well. The fourth tip that helped me: fresh air, movement, getting out, going outside, basically anything that is going to just help reinvigorate you a bit. Just a bit of a brain reset. That's not new. Like, that is not a new tip. That is not like a groundbreaking, oh, fuck me, Alice, didn't ever think of that. Let's be honest, we know we should be doing that all the time, but we don't. But especially when you're in recovery mode, getting that fresh air, getting that sunlight is going to help your brain reset. On that note as well, and this is kind of linked to number 3 about the energy management, be mindful of the energy you're exerting to get the energy back. Now, I'm a big fan of going to the gym. Love lifting heavy weight. And more times than not, I'm like, I can't be arsed, can't be bothered to go to the gym. I go to the gym, I put music in, I lift something heavy, and I feel fucking amazing afterwards. And I'm like, oh, yeah. Like, but I know that about myself. And going to the gym gives me more energy. However, when I was recalibrating my brain, I did not smash myself at the gym. It was Pilates and walking. It was gentle. It was stretching. Tip number 5, naps. Yeah, naps. Naps are allowed. Like, it's totally okay. Like, I don't have kids, but my friends that have got kids, when they've gone to like a big kids party and it's like, oh, the kids are now like overstimulated, like, you know, they were playing like pin the tail on the donkey. I don't know if that's legit, by the way. Do people still play that game? Anyway, what do? You come home, you put the little one down for a nap. You're like, oh, they're overtired, they're overstimulated. Yeah, we're like that as well. It's okay to have a nap. Number 6, comfort. Comfort rituals are good. The brain loves that comfort. The brain loves that familiarity. So what can you do as you're trying to help your brain recalibrate to give it that kind of warm hug? Maybe it's some hot drinks. Maybe it's the same meals. I certainly know for me, not only was I trying to take the decision making out, but I was really enjoying what I call bowl meals, especially as the weather was a little bit chilly. So this was things like porridge bowls and, you know, chilies and casseroles, things that I could eat, as the name suggests, in a bowl. But it provided me with like that comfort. I was having a lot of baths, wearing a cozy jumper, which apparently is an ADHD thing. So maybe we'll leave that podcast for another day. But what this was about, regulation. Regulation, you probably have heard that talked so much about in the ADHD world. You've got to regulate yourself. And that comfort ritual really can help. And my 7th tip for you: lower your expectations. But here's the caveat: temporarily. This isn't about going, well, I can't achieve X, Y, and Z. It's just accepting the fact that, you know what, I'm not operating at 100% at the moment. So why am I expecting 100%? Like, I know that I was operating probably about 70, maybe even 60, maybe even 50 on the Monday. So why the fuck am I expecting 100% results? So, like I said, June, mental. The week after that, am I going to expect 100% output from me? Fuck no. Like, I will plan for 50%, and if I do more, great. But I'm not going to set myself up for failure by expecting 100%. I'm lowering my expectations temporarily for that week. So there you have it, guys. Post-stimulation depletion. What it is, why it happens, and my 7 tips for recovery, which are pre-decide tomorrow. Number 2, cut non-essential decisions. Number 3, protect your energy. Number 4, get fresh air, movement, go outside, sunlight. Number 5, take naps. Number 6, comfort rituals, and number 7, lower your expectations temporarily. By combining these things or just taking what you need from it, I really hope that next time you experience this post-stimulation depletion like I did, that you now have the tools to help you manage it. Because like I said, it isn't about going, oh my God, I can't ever go to an event or do something that's going to spike my dopamine ever again. It's about learning what to do and how to manage it. So guys, thank you so much for tuning in. This has been Confessions of an ADHDer. My name is Alice Dartnell, and ironically, I am a time and energy management coach. If this episode has made you laugh, cry, or just made you feel seen, then hit follow so you don't miss a future one, because I drop a new confession every Wednesday. And if you've got your own ADHD confession, feel free to get in touch. Come find me on social media, Alice Dartnell. Share your confession, and I promise you, seriously, you are not the only one. Next week, I have the fabulous Kim with me, and we are going to be talking about the impact of not knowing you had ADHD sooner, because, oh my God, man, it's a journey. And Kim said that she always felt like something was wrong with her. And she had always internalized this as being useless or broken. And then when she got her diagnosis, her late diagnosis, it was like, oh my God, so much makes sense. And that is exactly how I felt. So it was a really emotional, powerful podcast episode. So I really hope you can tune into that one next week as well. But guys, thank you so much. Please also do share this with someone that you know is going to benefit from this. And if you are watching this as well, not just listening to it, I'm just going to take a quick moment as well to apologise for the very leery background that you have been looking at for the last 20 minutes or so, because if you follow me on social media, you will know that I have now started my digital nomading era again, and at the moment I'm currently crashing doing this podcast in my nan's back bedroom, which is a little bit colourful. So thank you for bearing with me on that one. Guys, thank you so much for being here. This has been Confessions of an ADHD. My name is Alice Dartnell, and I will see you in the next episode.